Okay, we're back with the low poly of the engine, and I'm going to mention this right away. This video is sped up a lot more than the previous one. This one's at 300% speed up. Reason for this is the engine, it gets quite repetitive. In total it took almost 5 hours, I think, to create this low poly. So I'm just going to move over this a lot quicker than we did in the previous video, since really all the rest to it is matching the low poly to the high poly. The important stuff, you'll see them, I'll mention them. If you really think this video is too fast, then I suggest you download it and play it at reduced speed. Windows Media Player can do stuff like that. So what you see me do here is create the rear part of the supercharger, and one thing I want to do here is the fan shapes at the back. I'll just normal map those. I'm not going to model them. I'm probably going to create some sort of shape that that contains it, but I won't model all those separate parts. It'll work just fine in normal maps. And if you're new to normal maps, this might really seem like a, how would I say this, an over the top sort of thing to do. Like why would you put that, lose that amount of detail and make your low poly so simple? Well, just take it from me, it's going to be a lot harder if you don't. So I'm of course connecting everything together, since I definitely want my my mesh to be connected as much as possible. So there we go. Some chamfering, some welding, nothing too hard. Right. So what I just do, I detach it as a clone because I want to use the same shape at the front. Duplicate it, move it, snap it into place. We're going to do the same thing here. Just select those verts, do an inset, and delete the ones that I don't need. There we go. It's nice to see things sped up this fast for a change. Because sometimes previous videos I thought they might have been a little bit too slow, but this one might be a little bit too fast then, but still it should show everything so that you understand it. So there we go. Save some work by using the same at the front as at the back. To move this one forward a bit, it's also smaller and needs some more tweaking. That looks about right. And yeah, I'll see what I'm going to do with the front. Maybe I'll continue with the carburetors at the top. Just checking out what the best option is for the next step. And it's going to be the front. I'm going to do the same thing here. Just model the shape separately. Make it fit the general form as much as possible, and then we're going to attach it. Move these down, scale them a little bit, something like that. That looks about right. Okay. Yeah, the tough part here is because I have all those connections for the bolts that sit around it. I have to make sure my low poly fits them as well. And the how would I call it? These boxes that protrude from it, I also need to attach them, make them one piece with that round part. So there we go. Something like that looks about right. Weld these together, and I'm welding this stuff simply because that way I save polygons. Okay. General shape is looking alright. Now I need to make sure I align them correctly. Yeah, let's see, attached. And now I can create the geometry to weld them together. And what I'm doing here is, because it's such a complex shape, I'm just cutting using the cut tool, creating cuts to support the geometry. Which is just the fastest way to do this. And apparently I forgot a little bit over there. There we go. Using the weld tool to do the initial welds, and then after that using the cap tool to close everything up. And that looks about right. I might have to add some more connects to clean it up, since I have a few N-gons, but that's not for now. Now we have those round pulley systems at the bottom. This one might have a little bit a little bit too much segments to sit at the bottom there. I reduced them, and something like that should be about right. Okay. And now I'm going to attach that part, delete 1/2. I deleted the center also because I don't really need it. And I'm going to do the same thing again. Weld those together. Yeah, it's not perfect yet. I just have to fix that. Cap, weld. No, I used a bridge there and then a weld, and that's all fixed. So you see, I'm connecting parts even though it's not entirely logical to connect them. If you'd ever want this engine to be animated, you might leave some of those parts separately, but I don't think I'm going to do that, animate this engine, so I'm doing it like this. Right, so next up I'm going to tackle the gearbox. And the same approach as I started the low pulley, just start with a cylinder and move everything into its general place. Yes, that looks about right. And that's okay. No, I probably need to delete 1/2 again. Oh yeah, I need to add another one there because all those those connecting parts will be extruded from the transmission, as I mentioned, in one piece. So even at the back here at the transmission, I want everything to be one piece. Yeah, Max is freezing up a little bit here. There we go. Reason for that is I accidentally increased the number of steps instead of the bevel size. Not a smart thing to do to increase it to 100 right away. There we go, delete it. Chamfer that. And just simply creating the geometry to extrude those parts. Yeah, there we go. I select these polygons, hit extrude, and I'm gonna have to move them back a little bit. I'm using snapping for that. And moving these around, moving them back, scaling, just fitting them into place. Not shift moving, something like that. Okay. I need to tweak the height also to get it right. Something like that. And they look very square and not all that detailed for what you'd expect, but just think about it. It's the back of the engine. You won't see so much of it. And selecting these edges and moving them down into position. Alright, so what I have to do now is attach it, and a little bit trickier, do some more cuts to connect it. And you can see it's a little bit, there's a lot of cuts I have to do to get this to work. And I should be getting there, not sure. It's a bit messy. I temporarily hid the geometry. I didn't delete it or anything. Just temporarily hidden. It's easier to work with. There we go. I can delete that. Unhide it. Select all those verts. Weld them, and that should weld pretty much all of them. And then all that is left for me is to do the cleanup. I don't want to have too much, well, any extraneous edges or verts that really don't contribute all that much. It can be sloppy as a surface because, well, it's just a flat surface, you'll never notice. But, okay, well, here's another one I have to fix. I sort of forgot about this one, well, left it in the previous video. I think I'm just going to leave it like that, not bother too much with it. A little bit of an exception on my everything in one piece rule. Well, it is in one piece, but it's not shut watertight. So now the really annoying part, getting these round, I don't know what they are, parts for cables or something, getting them in the low pulley as well. I didn't really find this a fun part to model. Because it was just, oh my goodness, just cutting and welding all over the place and trying to get it to work. Anyway, we'll see. It's just not the most fun thing to do, connecting, making intersecting geometry non-intersecting by connecting everything up. So I'm preparing the geometry by adding some more edges. And I'm gonna need more. I'm just aiming for the points where the corners of those round parts are, trying to get them in that general position. And you can imagine I'm just going to create one of those and then copy it to the second carburetor, and of course have it mirrored to the other side. So I just have I created one and it's used 4 times. So as you can tell, since these shapes are so vastly different, I have to add so much extra geometry just before I can even start connecting them up. Yeah, and I even have to get inside of the mesh to get stuff to work. Delete the polygons I don't need. Move these into place so it's easier to weld. And I'm using edge constraint all the time, since it's just way easier to move your parts like that. Welding things. And there we go. Manually adding extra cuts so I can get this to work. And apparently I cut in a place that I shouldn't have. I can tell now, but I'm probably going to fix it later. There we go, that one. It's already fixed, and this one too. Target, well, that one over there. And yeah, since these two sides are not the same, I'm going to have to do the same stupid procedure twice. Not much I can do about it. This type of modeling, not my favorite. Okay, there we go. I need to delete those as well. Weld these parts together. And I'm adding another one there so that I can delete these polygons and manually weld that. Yeah, you can tell also I'm really simplifying things. Just pulling some verts together, places you wouldn't do it right away, but if it works. Also, this part is probably going to be a bit more difficult to bake, but then again, it's so small that even if I have baking errors, it won't be so much of a problem. There we go, another weld to make sure that worked. And yeah, I just have to make sure I did everything correctly now. Move the verts around a little bit. It's pretty much finished. I can clean it up a little bit more. Obviously, I don't need all those edges. Weld them around. You can tell it's another very messy wireframe. Oh, I forgot something here. I need to add another cut for that. I forgot both of those. Cut that one over there. There we go. Connect these, connect those. Trying to get inside to get it to work. I need to delete some polygons I don't need for that. So you can tell, my goodness, I thought I was finished, and then there's a lot more I have to fix. So yeah, basically he's just making a cut so I can connect the parts up and continuing on. And I'll be honest, it probably would have been less work and maybe even better if I kept them as separate intersecting meshes, but I'm just going to drive my point home and make them separate. Yeah, there we go, trying to get that to look round. And there's one of those boxes, a box part there. I'm gonna have to model that as well, and of course connect it up to that part, so it's gonna complicate things even more. And just adding some geometry to match the high poly. Yeah, there we go. Should be about right. Performing a chamfer so that I can get that into the correct position. Seems like chamfer isn't the best option. Well, we can make it work. And making it match the the high poly a bit more. See, as it turns out, these are way too much to the back. Have to move them more. This sort of tweaking, it's good to turn on your high poly mesh from time to time, so you can see and compare, and move the verts so they sit on the same surface. Okay, I deleted that part, attach it. Do some more welding. And I need to do some more welding there, and connect these two, and there we go. Now it should be all attached. And yeah, as it turns out, this part isn't perfect yet, so I have to add some more geometry to move that one back, because I don't want to push it and have a lot of empty space in my bake. That's generally a bad thing to do. To do the same thing here. A few cuts. And move that one back. Yeah. Okay, so this part's is working. What I'm gonna do is copy all of the geometry I just created there, all that work I put in there. And we're going to move it to the other side. Yeah, and I mirrored it because the other side is it's not symmetrical. Well, it's not, it's mirrored compared to the other one over the y-axis. So that's what I did here. Attach, do some welding. Cap that up and move those into place. Right, just tweak this a little bit more. Yeah, that's not going to work. I'm going to have to add another cut there. Yeah, that should be fine. And I can clean that up a little bit more. I don't need that extra geometry. And this one seems to be sitting pretty much just right. And I can clean that one up. I have to do the same thing here. I forgot about that one. Those edges. Okay. So now I'm going to cap the top of the, well, I'm using bridge, it's easier most of the time. Close off the top. And obviously we've got a bit of a problem here. Move that down, weld it, bridge that, weld those together, and make sure I don't have any crazy end gons. That looks better. Okay, so what more can we do at the top of this engine here? We need to create the big scoop and those cylinders that connect them to the carburetors. We'll probably do those next, after some more tweaking. Definitely the toughest part of the engine, those carburetors at the top, since there's just so much high frequency small scale detail. Also, never forget to optimize. Whenever you get the chance to optimize, just weld some stuff together and move it. I mean, if you do it more and more, you get an eye for it. You can tell, oh, I don't need this one, I can remove it. Control backspace, target weld, whatever. Just do it. Don't postpone it, because it's stupid to forget them in the end because you didn't feel like it. I think it's a rewarding thing to do, even to optimize a mesh. I mean, it just shows that you have an eye for this sort of stuff and that you have an attention to details, and it's just, I don't know, satisfying to get it lower in count. Okay, so now we have this mesh. Scale it a bit. And that should be about okay. Copy that one over there. Right, so now I'm going to want to connect those together. Attach, use my target weld to get all of these into position. Delete half of them. And this one needs a little bit more tweaking in position. And now just use target weld so everything ends up connected. Half of it is gone, and there we go. We got it. Right, so these carbs are the most complex part, but I don't think I could have saved any more there, because it's just a crazy silhouette I have to match. Not much I can do about that. See, I'm simplifying a lot on the side of the supercharger to compensate for it. And there we go. Duplicate my the big blower. Move edges I don't need straight away. And that messy geometry I talked about, that I sort of left like that when we finished the high poly. I'm going to clean that up a little bit now. I'll clean it up, make it a little bit more logical. I mean, it can't work in low poly. More loops to remove. Move those in a little bit, and I'm gonna have to auto smooth everything here. Oh yeah, and this is another thing I'm doing. Maybe a little bit of a mistake from my side, but I found that the number of segments for the blower valves, or the, I'm not exactly sure how you call them. I guess you call them blower valves. I found they didn't have enough segments to look perfectly round, so I'm adding extra ones. And the only way to really do that is by duplicating them, by doubling them with chamfer. I need to weld all those parts up. That's a more logical connection to make. Same here, just select those, connect. Auto smooth, and there we go. I think at the sides of the blower we've got a bit of a problem also. It just looks too jaggedy. But well, that's for the next one.